museum nudity, and how many tattoos do you need for a world record? What a weird week.
Hi, everybody, it's Weird.
This is like crazy being here.
Really weird tales. Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff.
Hi, friends. I'm Scott, and this is What a Weird Week. It's a show about the weird news of the week. We do 10 weird news stories from the news every Friday. You can go shownotes.page for show notes. Shownotes.page.
10.
Okay, we're kicking things off with full nudity, you guys, so just a heads up, PG-13, kids, put on the earmuffs, but this is only available in audio form. Please don't demonetize. Oh, what's that? We're not monetized yet. Oh, well, it's only been years. A French museum, the Marseille Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations, now has a Naturist Paradises exhibit where you're invited to come by, perhaps if you're a naturist yourself, enjoy the paintings, the sculptures, the photo collages, but also disrobe. It looks like it's $11 or 11 euros to get in. They also have a special deal for families. You have to pay, even if you're one of the nude people, which I would assume, then you're sort of part of the exhibit. But even then, I believe you still have to pay to get in. So I don't know how that works. It would seem to me there are other places where they would pay you. I don't understand art and all that, so let's just move on.
9.
Bees. At number 9, you guys, bees. And I know what you're thinking. Not the bees.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
Side note, you guys, Nicolas Cage movies are awesome. I'll put a link in the show notes, but I mean, it might be triggering. It's stars Nicolas Cage and some CGI bees that I want to say they could fit through the bars in that bee-carrying receptacle that they have in the Wicker Man movie. Couldn't the bees fit through the space between the... anyway, where are we? Oh, yes. Bees. This happened on a California highway where a tractor trailer went off the road and lost its load. It was carrying delicious red peppers. And so you got squishy red peppers all over the highway there for a bit. And shout out to the crews who respond to the accident and get traffic rolling again and keeping people safe. The tractor trailer could have hit any number of things. It hit one sign. And that roadside sign had an enormous beehive. So you've got delicious red fragrant, red peppers all over the highway. And then you have to call in the bee expert because it was a lot of bees. No injuries reported on this one. Stay tuned to the end of the program for our red pepper and bee carnage song. Up next, a story about a young fellow who breaks a jar. The jar is 3,500 years old. It was a museum piece, and you won't believe what happened next. I'm just kidding. You probably will believe what happened next. That story coming up. You're listening to the What a Weird Week show. We're about weird news. Weird and news. Together at last.
8.
The 4-year-old boy breaks old thing in museum story. This happened in Israel. The jar that the 4-year-old boy broke was 3,500 years old. It was deemed an accident. 4-year-old did not plot to destroy this artifact. It was an accident. Just for reference, 3,500, I'm not a real history guy there, but this jar was from before the time of King Solomon or King David. This jar was out. It wasn't in a display case or whatever, so it was asking to be destroyed, wasn't it? This one has a happy ending, though. The museum said, oh, we can fix that jar. I mean, hello, Gorilla Glue. Not sponsored, but that stuff is pretty awesome. Then the museum invited the 4-year-old boy and his family back for a tour. So I'm not saying the takeaway is destroy things in a museum, but they got a free tour, you guys.
7.
A very old bottle of booze at number 7, the world's oldest cognac. It's 328 years old. It belongs to a collector in the Netherlands. Now it is a Guinness World Record holder. It's from the year 1696. The accompanying photo will link to this. It's a fancy, but I mean, it's too fancy for me. Exceedingly fancy. Before this record, the last old bottle of cognac that sold at auction, around $150,000. So it's worth a lot of money. Wouldn't it, if you're a collector of booze though, wouldn't it call out to you some late night in a moment of weakness? You're like, I wonder if this stuff is any good. Let's get out some red Solo cups. Up next is a story about a majestic bald eagle. It's also inspiring to those of us who are overweight. It's also kind of funny. You're listening to the What a Weird Week show. It's about weird news, the weird news of the week, and you can get everything at shownotes.page, all our show notes at shownotes.page.
6.
This is a story about a majestic bald eagle. I don't know if they have them where you are, but where I am, we see them all the time. They are a wonderful, magnificent bird. And they represent pride, and they are a symbol, right? So I want to tread lightly here, but we're going to talk about the bald eagle that made news for being too fat. Oh, also, I should say, I'm constantly on a diet and losing that battle, so I feel like I can weigh in on this one as far as being too fat. No ill will intended here. A bald eagle in Missouri made headlines because people rescued it, thought it was injured in some way, and it was nursed back to health. Kind of. It wasn't really injured. It was just too fat to fly. Have you ever heard of a bald eagle being too fat to fly? Me neither. So the article says the bald eagle underwent rehabilitation, but is that what we're calling it now when you go on a diet? Because I am currently undergoing rehabilitation myself. If you would like to see photos, you can click shownotes.page. I feel like they should have, at this national park in Missouri, they should have a Name the Eagle contest. I think some of the entries might be hilarious. The majestic bald eagle. We call him Chunk. It's a funny story.
5.
Number 5 is about that ride that shut down in Mexico, the Six Flags Mexico amusement park. The Supergirl Super Fun Ride. That's not really the name of it. I can't remember. Let's just call it the Supergirl Super Fun Ride. It shut down, and the people on the ride are 243 feet in the air, hanging there. It's kind of scary.
New video of riders stuck nearly 250 feet above the ground during a storm at Six Flags Mexico. This happened last Sunday. People were dangling there for about 10 minutes. People were eventually evacuated after the storm got worse. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Here's a thought. You get down off that ride. You're up on a ride that's 243 feet in the air. You want the thrills and chills, right? You paid money to go through that. You get down on the ground, I'm charging you extra because you got more thrills and chills than you paid for. Sorry, that's going to be an extra $5. Next, a Guinness World Record that maybe you could beat this weekend if you wanted to get in the Guinness book. This is one to try. That story next. Hi friends, you're listening to What a Weird Week. It's about the weird news of the week. Appreciate when you like and subscribe and do reviews. Shownotes.page for all our links.
4.
Number 4 is the trained architect named Brian who made headlines by getting in the Guinness Book of World Records for making a house of cards 54 levels high. That's a lot of, you've got to be focused, you've got to have a steady hand, you've got to have a lot of cards. The record is tallest house of cards in 8 hours. So if you wanted to break this record this weekend, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get some cards. Let's set aside 8 hours. Phone off the hook. What's that? Oh, you don't have a phone with a hook. Oh, those aren't a thing anymore. Well, great. One less distraction. Let's go. Let's make a tall house of cards. 8 hours. Let's get it. Okay, close the window. There's a bit of a breeze. Let's close the window, you guys.
3,
This one is the lady who set the Guinness World Record for most body mods and most tattoos.
Meet Esperance Luminesca Fuerzina, a woman from Connecticut.
Esperance is 36 years old and is 99.98% tattooed, 99.98% covered in tattoos, and she also has 89 body modifications.
To be the most tattooed woman in the world feels incredibly exciting. I never thought I'd have this honor, and I'm very grateful and excited for the future.
If you want to see the video, we'll link to that in the show notes. Up next, the story of the 3 bison in Connecticut. They escaped and then came back. But when they came back, there were 4. This is What a Weird Week. New episodes every Friday, the weird news of the week.
2,
This one seemed very mysterious to me at first because I'm a bit slow on the uptake, you guys. The headline is, this is from Ben Hoops Hooper over at UPI. He's the weird news guru, and his headline was 3 bison escape from Connecticut farm, 4 bison return. What? How? What even? The bison made a run for it. They actually made headlines when they knocked over a fence on a Sunday, took off. That made headlines. You know, that's kind of exciting. Bison roaming free in Connecticut. But then on Tuesday night, those bison returned with a baby bison. They had escaped. Mama bison had a baby. And then 4 bison returned home. And it looks like they're gearing up to have some sort of Name the Baby Bison contest at this farm. We'll put a link in the show notes. Honorable mention. This week, an honorable mention to the businesses involved in the sign war, the famed sign war of North Carolina. There was a bar and grill in Morehead City who had a sign that said, "Happy Birthday, Jeff." The birthday was on the sign for about a month, give or take. So then a place to eat called Dank Burrito put on their sign something referencing, hey, change the sign already, kind of. That's me paraphrasing. Then the first place responded by saying, hey, Dank Burrito, we're not lazy, we're just busier than you. Oh boy. So they're in this war, and then Prime Bistro puts on their sign, boys, do we need to have a meeting? Except meat was spelled like, delicious meat. Then EJW Outdoors on their sign put, guys, do we need to taco about it? Taco, get it? They say about 70 businesses have chimed in on the sign war. We'll put a link in the show notes. That is honorable mention worthy. Well done, businesses of North Carolina. Our number 1 story is next, you guys. Hang on. Count down 10 of the weird news stories of the week. This is What a Weird Week.
1,
Number 1 is not sponsored, but it does involve a major pizza restaurant chain, you guys. It's Pizza Hut, and their publicity stunt or promotional idea, however you refer to these things, I always say props and respect to the hardworking promotional team trying to cut through the noise, especially in the pizza world where there are a number of competitors vying for your pizza dollars. Pizza Hut has made available a pizza box in certain markets where people are moving a lot. I had read a statistic before that August is the month that more people move than any other month of the year. And so Pizza Hut has this pizza box in certain markets where people are moving a lot, according to their data. And the pizza box folds into a table, so you don't need furniture. You're moving, whatever. You've got an empty room. Well, you can order from Pizza Hut, and the box folds into a table. It is called the moving box table from Pizza Hut. I hope this catches on and the pizza box industry does a lot more with pizza boxes. You want a table, you want a chair, perhaps furnish your entire home with pizza boxes. Pizza box recliner. When it's all over and you're filled with pizza and now you're sleepy, you can just kick back on your pizza box futon, maybe. I don't know. These are good ideas, though. Okay, that's that. We are back again next Friday with 10 more weird stories from the news. Thank you for listening to What a Weird Week. You can get everything we talk about if you go to shownotes.page. Links, the stories in more detail, a transcription of this week's episode. A special thank you to Funhouse Radio. You can seek them out online, Google Funhouse Radio, or ask your smart speaker to play Funhouse Radio. Every weekend, we're part of the programming over there, so thanks to the crew at Funhouse Radio. We'll catch you next week for more weird on What a Weird Week.
I was rolling on down that old highway. I caught my redneck pepper express. I lost control and lost my load. It was a squishy red pepper mess.